If our purpose is our moral compass, our true north of where we need to go, then our values are like our guiding lights. It's what we refer to when we're making decisions about people, about things that we should do, what's right, what's wrong. And it's when values clash is when we have trouble with others. And then when values mesh, that is when we've got true relationships and real things can happen. So the interesting thing about values, it's like what I call my values iceberg. My values iceberg. And like most icebergs, we only see what's on the top. So when we meet people, we actually understand more about them from what they say and do. But it's beneath the water. It's the part that we don't get to see or understand. And it's what makes them, us, say the things we say and do the things we do. Because it's how we think and how we feel actually determines what we say and what we do. Our values are created from many aspects of our lives. So it can be our experiences, our religion, where we were born, our nationality, whether we were city folk or country folk or desert folk or near the ocean folk or in the hills folk. It can be where we were schooled, our qualifications, our experience from travel, our experiences with life to this point, our family upbringing, mothers, fathers, uncle, aunties. All of those experiences create our values and the way that we look at life. Every single one of us would have a different values iceberg. And when we look at this a bit deeper in our iceberg, it's going to take us a long time to work out who someone really is for them to be able to say and do and reflect what's in here. So I'd like us to think about our values and think about where you've come from. Think about your religion, your family life, upbringing, location. And remember, that's very unique from everybody else. Because the reason why we get along with other people as real friends is because you'll find that their and our and your values actually mesh. That we both work well together because we both have similar ways of thinking due to our experiences. And it's the ability of us to be able to either be very tolerant, to understand more about other people's values, for us to be more accepting, which allows us more people in our lives. So what we really need to do is understand ourselves first. With the worksheet of the iceberg that you have, I'd like you to jot down a few answers to some of the areas and categories below the iceberg. Your location, where you're born, your family upbringing, fun, energetic, different, however you'd like, whatever it was, just jot that down. And the reason why you're doing that is for you to really understand of why and how people are so different than us. So when people answer differently from you, and it can frustrate you a bit. It's not because there's anything about you, it's because their values and the way they work are quite different from yourself. So we need to take that on board and accept that they are different. Accept that we think differently and be more inclusive and understanding of others. Because it's only what they say and do is really when we understand people. Make sure you have a good look at your values. Write them down of where you've come from and what's created them. The other exercise, the second exercise, is you'll have all these values, words listed. Motivational values, personal values, emotional values. What I'd like you to do, look through the words and circle 2 words that you really believe in for each particular area. Once you have your 2 words, study them hard and then place them into the table above on the worksheet. Those 2 words, they're your real superpowers. They're your values that you hold strong. Now, I'd like you to think of a story about when you've used those values to make a decision. You've used those values to understand a situation a little bit more. When have those values risen to the top to allow you to differentiate between right and wrong? And that'll give you a great indication of your spiritual self, of what you really believe in. So, recap. Look at the iceberg. Where did you come from? Why do you think like you think? And why you think and you feel? Write down that. And the second exercise, look at the values divided up into those 5 different colours. Pick 2, circle 2 really strong values. Write them in the box. Think of a story that illustrates when you've used those values. And just jot down a couple of words to remind us. Hopefully, you may get to share the story with someone in the near future. Values. You need to understand our values, where they came from, and what they are for you. Because that is the difference between all of us.